Today, it's very important that we talk about resilience in our education system, specifically how we can foster resilience in young people after troubling experiences. As you are watching this, North America is currently struggling with a worldwide pandemic due to the COVID-19 virus. Many of us are working hard to navigate the effects and events that this virus has imposed on families, schools, and communities. However, there's another danger that is spreading: trauma. The COVID-19 crisis contributes to much individual trauma and stress on its own, but it also stands as a very collective trauma. Trauma is the unique experience in which one is faced with highly stressful, dangerous events that overwhelm and dramatically challenge a person's development and capacity to cope. And the experience of trauma, as we know well, is not limited to the experience itself, but also sometimes long afterwards. There are particular types of trauma we are facing in the pandemic. Things like high-stakes decision fatigue, in which we are all constantly trying to make decisions and manage priorities more often in our daily life than we are used to. Make more sacrifices than we are used to. Limited contact with loved ones, loss of family and friends, whether due to hospitalization or death. The sickness itself, limited access to services like counseling and support. For children, there's an absence of supportive network of adults, with online school, social distancing, and limited contact with others. Typically, though, in the face of extreme stress or danger, our bodies and minds are actually designed to respond in a heightened state of alert, or what we know as fight, flight, or freeze. But this state is really only supposed to last for brief moments. In fact, facing moments of normal and tolerable stress is what can build what we call resilience, and actually help calibrate our stress response systems. It's when people, especially children in the development stage, face prolonged stress and adversity, such as what we see with the effects of COVID-19, that begin to impact said development as well as coping skills. Our most important system, the school, has taken the biggest hit in terms of distance and online learning, less class time, less interaction time, both with peers and other supportive adults. In some cases, full class sessions are still occurring, but now families, teachers, and young students are being constantly exposed to the invisible threat in areas where everything else is shut down. As much as it is the trickiest right now, now is also the most crucial time to begin helping young people foster resilience and build healthy coping mechanisms, so that when the pandemic is long gone, neither is our spirit. Identifying the stresses and effects that will last can help us then to direct our attention to the next question: what do we do now? And the big kicker: what can teachers do to help our young people? While there is much that show the proven positive results of healthy coping strategies like self-care, peer and adult support, humor, mindfulness, and talking about feelings in a safe space. But we need to look deeper. This is where our magic word comes in: resilience. Resilience is a big one. It's the successful capacity and positive adaptability of a system in response to challenges that threaten the functioning, survival, and/or development of that said system. In other words, it's our ability to successfully cope during and after stressful and traumatic events. Think of it like an immune system. The best way to build immunity is to have exposure to the challenges themselves and then see and learn how well our systems can respond to and fight off that threat. In education, we can see students who show resiliency through aspects like positive self-esteem, problem-solving skills, and a sense of competence, in spite of the stressful event that occurred. These can be things teachers can start to look for right now, but also very important to watch for long after the pandemic has subsided. It's also important to remember that each child is different in their coping styles and are at different levels of developing coping styles, such as the repressing coping style, which means they don't talk about their trauma very much but look toward the future, or active copers who actually use problem-focused strategies. Neither is more right than the other, but these are things to be watchful for in young people in order to understand how we can begin to foster resilience within them. Resilience isn't just one system either, it's multidimensional, just as is our general perspective to development. There are many different domains at play when measuring how well a child is doing in the face of adversity. For example, academic resilience success looks different than social resilience success. And if a student is truly manifesting resilience, they're doing well in many domains of their life, showing that there are multiple influences to consider and factor in. And a school that functions well in the face of adversity and becomes resilient themselves is said to manifest resilience for children. Even more so, these schools provide what Dr. Ann Maston calls protective adults, or brokers of resources, in a time of need for young people. But what do we do when we are all facing a large crisis like the pandemic that attacks multiple domains of our lives at a time? How can teachers foster this big idea of resilience? Well, we do have some answers. It's called a short list. And in short, they are proven protective factors used to predict resiliency in young people. These things are positive relationships with caring adults and peers, effective parenting and teaching, as well as effective schools, problem-solving skills, self-efficacy and self-regulation skills, motivation, persistence, effective stress management, a belief system that promotes faith, hope, and spirituality, and the belief that life has meaning. Teachers, parents, adults alike, this is what you're looking for in young people, and this is what also we must foster. Ways to do that are assuring you have a fun and interactive space for students to communicate safely, whether about school or to let out steam. This can really look like anything, and it depends on age too. For example, a Zoom study hangout for high school students or a socially distanced game night for younger kids. Talking to your students and knowing that they have a space where they feel like they can participate and feel celebrated. Spending time with students and talking through or writing out expectations and consequences, assuring that both student and teacher are on the same page about responsibilities and accountability. Assuring a safe place to explore what students truly believe in and embracing it, like spending a class or an activity or one-on-one time if they're comfortable with it, asking what hopes and dreams they may have. Cheesy, but effective. And encouraging students to build positive life objectives, whether academic focused or not. Above all, remembering the importance of having models. Students who see others function well in spite of adverse events tend to do well themselves. This means that what they see on TV and their peers at home can affect young people very easily. This also means teachers play a huge part being a role model in children's lives. This by no means is saying that teachers everywhere have to master resilience. What it means is that they should be empathetic, creating safe spaces for students, and fostering motivation and empowerment in every space they enter, even if it's virtually. Now, everything we've been talking about of resilience goes for you too. Yes, you who's watching this. Teachers, parents, and other adults need to provide themselves a safe place to build resilience too. Remember, in the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will fall from the panel above your head. Please fasten your own oxygen mask before helping others around you. Now, does that sound familiar? Kristen Sewers, author of Fostering Resilient Learners, says it is crucial for all of us to have safe people in our lives. This is an essential part of our capacity to build our own resilience, someone who can empathize with you, be your teammate and on your side, help you laugh and learn, someone you love and who loves you. And sometimes it isn't efficient enough to just have one. It helps to truly have an inner circle of safe people. This looks like friends, colleagues, family, partners. It's important for teachers to have this, and even more important for teachers to encourage and foster this for their students. Of course, with COVID-19, managing and even just finding these safe people in our lives can be very difficult. That's why it is more important than ever that we keep connected, stay connected, even when we return to normal, whatever and whenever that may look like. Who's to say what normal will look like again? And our resilience as adults, as teachers, as children can build in face of this pandemic if we can hold on to our safe people and our safe spaces. So try these things, make adaptations. Teachers make a big impact, and an even bigger impact in a time like this. We've all been working very hard, and I promise it'll all be worth it. Science says so. So keep trucking on and take breaks. And most importantly, take breaks. You are doing well. At the end of the day, we know ourselves, we know our children, and resilience is truly a renewable source. So, here's to harvesting the best we have and working together to make a better future. Thanks for watching.